So I have a very specific perspective on leadership, and I'm not saying it's the right one, it just happens to be the one I have. Everyone has one. And what I'm going to ask you today over the course of our day is just to be willing to try on some other perspectives and ideas, and I will be doing that as well. Not like they're true or false. To the best of your ability, to not assess something as right or wrong or good or bad or true or false, but just to try it on the way you would try on a jacket. If you go to the store and you put it on and you're like, oh, does this fit? I don't know. And the discipline that I engage in, I just offer it to you. You don't have to do it, but my discipline is I like to try on new ideas or perspectives, assuming that there's some truth in them. Why would that be beneficial? If I just assume there's some truth.
Because then you open yourself up to learning.
Yeah, I could open myself up to learning. Any other thoughts?
Because there's more possibility.
There's more possibility. So here's what I do. I go, well, I'm going to assume this is true long enough to see where it's true, when it's true, and how it's true. Because even if it's 2% true, it could open up some huge venue for me in my life with the work that I do with other people. And because that is something I'm really passionate about, I'm like, hey, it's worth it. Now, if I do my job today, your ego will feel a little punched by the end of the day. That is not a threat. This is just human nature. We are designed for survival. We do a fantastic job of it. Congratulations, everyone. You have survived so far. And the downside of that automatic default that we have for survival is that sometimes it goes into hyperdrive. And we end up pushing away other ideas or other perspectives because they show up like a threat. And our life is not always at stake. Now, when our life is at stake, handy, very handy to use that survival mechanism. But for most of us, our life isn't at stake every day. Our physical safety is not being threatened. But somehow, we've trained ourselves to respond as if it is. And that can show up even in the smallest way, a new idea, a different perspective, and our knee-jerk reaction might be defense, or ignoring, or blaming. Any have you ever done any of those things? Defend, blame? Yeah, this is human, right? Human 101. So as you're noticing and we're engaging today, I'm going to ask you to imagine there's a net on the ceiling. And I like to call this the judgment net. So just imagine it's like a trapeze net, but it's on the ceiling. And whenever you find yourself in judgment, whether it's of yourself or of other people or of anything, just notice the judgment and toss it up in the net. That way, you're not having to fight through it like a briar patch to get to some possible learning. Yeah, just awesome. Now, at the end of the day, if you want all those judgments back, you may have them. I will not take them home with me. So just practice, and I think this is a awesome leadership discipline. The practice listening from a space of learning and tuning down the voice of self-judgment. How many of you are hard on yourselves? Yeah. All great leaders are hard on themselves in some way. We use it to propel us forward, and then, of course, it also keeps us backwards. It's this crazy dynamic. So when you notice yourself judging I should have seen that. Oh, I would have done that. Why did they say that? I could have, all that stuff, comparison, toss it in the net. And give yourself permission today to be a student and a coach and a learner and a human being. What do we love about human beings? They grow. What else?
Unique.
They're unique? Yes. What else? We have flaws. We are messy. Anybody messy? So messy. We are messy. I was telling you a little bit earlier, I was just in Chicago working, and we work with, there's a group of trainers, and it changes. So several people I know, and I've known for a while. There's this guy that's new, and I've only seen him a few times, but every time I see him, I just feel very rubbed the wrong way. And so, and this is obviously, it's my judgment, so I'm just like, okay, Gene, just be gracious, da-da-da. And he's like, blah, 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 So in my little breathing. So we're in the lift, and we're going back to the hotel. And we're talking in the lift about dinner. And, hey, where do you guys want to go together tonight? Who wants to go? Blah, blah, blah. And I say, well, I think some people are going to go have Greek. Does anybody want to go? I'm going to go get some Greek food. Does anybody want to go? A couple of people, yes. He goes, I don't know. What does she look like? And it wasn't even the comment. It was just that I was like already done. And I go, okay, you know what? Too much Mark today. I am Mark overload. And he was like, and then I'm like, oh, gee, that was so not kind. And he was, and we were getting out of the lift when this happened. And he said, that was really harsh. And at that moment, I was like, you have no idea. I was.
That was gentle.
I know, right? I was not proud of this moment. This is a confession to you this morning because this just happened on Thursday night. And then I went up to my room and, dinner's in about an hour. And I feel so convicted. I'm like, Gene, wow, really? Oh my gosh, you did not need to be that person today. So I figured, well, when we go down for dinner, I'll pull him aside and apologize. And so we go down for dinner. He doesn't show up for dinner. I know. I'm like, I don't have his phone number. I was like, okay, I'm just going to wait till tomorrow morning. So I hardly sleep that night because I feel horrible. I just feel so badly that I reacted that way. And so the next morning he comes down and I pull him aside and I said, listen, that was really unkind of me yesterday, and please forgive me. I'm very sorry that I just went off on you like that, and I just wanted to let you know. It was awful for me as well. I'm sure it was awful for you. And he was like, yeah, that's why I didn't go to dinner. And I'm like, I knew that. I just knew that in my little heart. I was like, oh. He said, yeah, I was wondering. He goes, yeah, thank you for saying that. Is there something I need to be aware of? Which good for him, right? Because he could have just been, you're a horrible person. I said, well, here's my perspective. And I just said, I feel like sometimes one-on-one you are so fun and interesting. Somehow when we get in a group, this stage thing happens, and it's not okay. It's just a lot, and it's a lot of the time. And he was like, oh, okay, wow, I didn't realize that. I was like, yeah, and that still didn't give me permission to do what I did. I'm not justifying what I did. I'm horrible and unkind. So I'm just letting you know that's what was happening. And he was great, and he was gracious. Of course, the rest of the day, I'm like, oh, my gosh. So why am I sharing that? Because sometimes we leak. As human beings, and of course as leaders, I don't know about you, but I have a certain way I like to see myself. Anybody? Oh, I'm like this. I'm this kind of person. I'm the open person. I'm the this person. I'm like, I work with people all the time. And I have this narrative that is very important to me that if I'm not careful, I can get stuck on in this way I like to see myself. And then, oops, leaked out. Oh, I do not like to see myself as that person. And that person is still there. Right? So as a human, we're capable of all the things, right? We are capable of incredible acts of beauty and courage and love, and we are also capable of horror and evil and cruelty. And how many of you have been on both sides of that spectrum? Yeah, I hope so, if you're breathing, yes. And it was painful, and it was just a great reminder to me that, okay, blind spot. Another blind spot. And the more, from my perspective, that as a leader, we're willing to look into our blind spots, especially in those moments that we get to catch ourselves being ourselves in that self that we didn't want to see. That's a huge opportunity to have something new. Because what could have been another option instead of recognizing that I was way out of line? What could have been another option after that happened? Yeah.
You just double down.
Double down.
Say no.
No, this is you. Like, I did this because you, la, 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 la. Yeah. Double down, blame. Mm-hmm.
Continued it, gossiped out of
Continue, gossiped. Yeah, absolutely.
Justify it. Like,
Just-
well, you shouldn't have been
Right, yeah. Why did you have to say that, you pig? Yeah, I could totally, so many options, right? And we always have so many options that sometimes in the moment it seems like we just have one. And in that moment, it seemed like I just had one. And I had a lot. So as we go through our day together, my heart is for you to start seeing options, start seeing choices that maybe you didn't see before in certain relationships, scenarios, leadership opportunities in your life. Fair enough? All right.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. So I want to start out with a why. Why are you here? What is it that you would love to walk away with at the end of the day today? That if you walked away with whatever it is, you would say, that was an amazing use of my time and resource. What would it be? Yeah.
I'd like to be better at having difficult conversations
Okay.
with people.
Okay. Difficult conversation. We're just going to put pro right there after that. All right. Yeah, Jeff.
I'm going to be doing a leadership thing, so I just need it. I just want to see it modeled.
Okay. Thank you. What else?
Just taking advantage of the opportunities that come my way. I mean, maybe they're not specific to, oh, I have a board meeting on Tuesday, but just in my day-to-day,
Yeah, life.
yeah.
All right. Thank you. Someone else. What do you see?
Go ahead. A better awareness of myself.
Okay. And that would provide what for you?
A way to navigate situations such as you just presented.
You're like, AKA don't be a jerk training. I hear you. What else?
Clarity on what my uniqueness in leadership looks like.
Okay. And if you got that clarity, what would the clarity bring you?
It would bring me, it would enable me to take actions
Okay.
much easier.
Okay. Clarity is great. To me, it's a path to something. It's not the end goal of. Obviously, you're not going to get clear and be sitting in your couch at home. I'm so clear. There'd be something that would be the fruit of that. So awesome, taking action. What else?
Just the idea, like probably to follow up that, I don't know how to really say it, but just the idea of like self-leadership. It's like leading yourself as a concept versus like obviously when we think of leadership, we lead other people, but you kind of have to lead yourself well.
You really
kind
do.
of fleshing that out and understanding that.
Yeah.
Because then obviously who's going to look to you if you don't lead yourself well?
Yes.
And understanding that.
Because that's credibility and that's character, and right? That's a lot of things. So yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Let's see if I can be succinct. Sticking more to my values or vision rather than trying to be liked. in
Oh, okay.
situations.
Yeah. I think these are connected for you, right?
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Very good one.
Good.
Okay.
That is a tough one.
I'm going to call that commitment. And the other word when you were talking that comes up for me is just grit. Like I just stay planted, even when things are not the way I think they should be. Because in life, when things aren't the way that we think they should be, what is our immediate temptation? Make them the way they should be. Go right into control, or sometimes pull back. Right? Withdraw or control. That's when things or people aren't the way we think they should be. Yeah, there's the fight or flight. That is a natural tendency. We go towards it with a fist or away from it in withdrawal. Like, well, when they sort themselves, when that gets better, I'll show back up again, but I'm not going to be part of that. So that is, to me, that is one really key quality of leadership, is that ability to step into the chaos. That willingness, like I'm going to step into the chaos and I'm going to create order. Because I may not be certain of what's needed, but I am certain about who I am in the middle of whatever comes my way. And I think that's the dance, is the tension of I can be certain about who I am and my gift and not exactly know what it could look like. How could it be expressed in this moment? Because that's a pretty big dynamic. It can look really, really different depending on the context. How many of you have experienced that? Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you like have to reinvent
Yes,
like
yourself.
split of a second. You have to have it like, okay, well, what is my focus? What is my vision? How am I applying
Yeah.
it? Like you go through the
Yes,
so many times in a day.
so many times in a day, or a relationship, or both.
Yep.
Yes. Anything else?
I'm
Yeah.
thinking of like, I'm still trying to process it in my head, but kind of going with what you were saying about the certainty of knowing who I am, who we are, like who we are created to be.
Yes.
How then we can see the unique gifts in others and
Mhm.
champion that.
Mm-hmm.
So like that would be my part. It's like the more I know who
Mm.
I am, the more I can champion those around me.
Yes. Awesome.
So my why is I want to get out of my way.
And once you do that, then what happens?
Then
Because that's not a
I'm
fun
out of my
goal.
way.
That's not a fun goal. Come on.
But no, really, in applications, specifically emotionally,
Mm.
there's a way to apply emotion that's powerful,
Yes.
that's transformational, that's effective, that's all those things, and Jason can tell you. Sometimes
Jason's face.
that emotion if you're in a position of leadership and it's coming across as wounded, as fighting from I'm right, as petty, as immature,
Yeah.
as it shifts the entire culture of an organization.
Yeah.
So there's a responsibility there that I'm looking to own and apply in a powerful way for my team.
Okay. So I'm going to put that into responsibility. And I'm going to add to that, because the other thing I hear you alluding to is something that is called caring detachment, which sounds like a really weird thing to go together.
Sounds
Yeah.
like an oxymoron.
It does. It,
Jumbo shrimp.
Which is jumbo shrimp. It's that ability to care and not get swept into the emotional wave of it. So there's right. It is real. So there's a stewarding that needs to happen to harness that, and in a way that the care comes across, but the crazy stays here.
Yeah.
We want all the care, but not all the crazy.
Yep.
All right, fantastic. Anything else? Yeah, Kate.
Listening, like increasing my listening and
Yes.
hearing different perspectives and
Yes, listening is number one on our list. That's going to be our first exercise today. This is left-handed problems. Listening, yeah. Beautiful, thank you. Anything else? All right. So we are going to use these things. I'm going to keep them up on the wall today. Jason, would you put that up on the, not that one where the light is, but the one behind it. Thank you. We're going to use those as, in a very micro way, we're going to use that as our vision for the day. So this is we're setting our course right in this direction. This is what we're looking to have happen. Yes?
Yes.
Okay, I know it's early. It's okay. I flew in from Chicago last night, people. There's no excuses in this room. So we're going to look at that as vision. And anytime any of us, we set a vision, we've set something ahead of us, and we're looking towards it, the first thing that needs to happen is a very deep dive into our current reality. So when I say current reality, what do you hear? What do you think is current reality is made up of what?
Facts.
Okay.
Yeah,
Like what kind of facts?
What is? I mean, the people present,
Okay.
the emotions present, the problems present, the possibilities.
Okay. Anything else?
Context,
Context.
what came before, what's coming after.
Yep. What else? Current reality? Yeah.
Things as they are, not how we want them to be.
Yeah.
How we
Yes.
idolize
Yes. I love it. Things as they are, not as we, distinct from how we want them to be. And that includes ourselves, yes?
Right.
So that's not that, but yes. I had mentioned earlier that we have a view of ourselves that we like a lot.
Yeah.
Anyone can relate to that? Yeah. So I had this epiphany around that a few years ago. John and I, my husband John, we were driving somewhere. And I don't know about you, but somehow there's something about the car that brings up conversation, intense conversations. Anybody that's married, like, what is happening that we're in the car and now it seems like an argument somehow. So we're driving, and obviously I travel a lot for work. I'm gone a lot. And so my husband says to me, hey, you know what? I feel like before you get ready to leave town, you do all these things to kind of placate me. So immediately, what do you think I start thinking? No, I don't.
What am I doing?
What am I doing? Why do you not appreciate me? Well, and then the list comes. How many of you have lists? I did this, and I did this for you, and I did this, and I made the meals, and they're in the Tupperware, and I have a list. And somehow miraculously, because this very rarely happens, as I was about to offer my list, I caught myself, and I said, okay, Jean, hold on. Here's your husband, who you love. He's telling you something's missing. You are in a conversation that says, I'm a good wife. Now, if you really are a good wife, if you're the good wife that you think you are, you're going to want to know what's missing for him. Because otherwise, who are you being a good wife for? Darn it. So in that moment, I was, okay, here's a reality check. So I said, wow, tell me more. What do you mean? Tell me what you see. Oh, and he had things. He did. He had things very specific. So he had his list, right? So he's telling me, well, I feel like you do, when you make whatever, you make your dinners and you put them in Tupperware. You don't even ask me if I want to do that. Maybe I've already planned to go out that week. He goes, I just feel like you're doing it more for you so you don't feel guilty that you're leaving. I feel like you're doing it more for you than really for me. So true. And it was this wonderful revelatory moment for me because I realized, yes, I am doing this to bolster and to solidify my view of myself as your wife, not really paying attention to the impact on you, because who else would I be wifing for? Right? You're my husband. So it was awesome. It was one of those moments that I think about it whenever I'm tempted to get my list out or defend or something, when someone just tries to bring feedback and I'm like, hold on, this is what you need to hear. This is a gift. Okay, just receive it. And it really gave me a lot of current reality, right, to work with, because here's the thing. If you don't know where you are, you can't get where you're going, right? Law of Google Maps. If you don't know where you're starting, any amount of direction in the world will not get you where you're going. And if you think you're someplace that you're not, and then you start out on your trek, you will definitely never get where you're going. I could give you all the directions in the world from Santa Rosa to San Francisco. But honestly, if you're in Ukiah, you're not going to get there. You're going to stop short. You're going to wonder how come you're not there yet. So this discipline of interrogating, if you will, current reality is one of the central functions of a leader. And it is so, so important. And it's one thing I would say, just as I notice working with leaders in all different cultures and spaces, it is a rigorous discipline. Because there are times we do not like it as humans. So once we're in this grounding and we start exploring current reality, what's beautiful about it is that action steps naturally will emerge from this. So if you're not sure, I don't know what to do next, when people tell me they're stuck in any way, I say, oh, yeah, you're probably missing feedback. You're probably missing some data in current reality. Because the clearer you are in current reality, the more naturally these action steps will occur to you. The more naturally you will see them, they're going to make more sense. And this is where transformation happens. because we are willing to be where we are and yet move towards what we see possible. And when I say vision, I'm really focusing on, I know we have specific ones for today that we're looking at. I'm asking you to consider it as a way of being and what you're bringing into the world, not a goal necessarily. Does that make sense? So vision isn't, I'm going to be the CEO of the company. Well, who do you need to be to have that happen? Because whoever you need to be to have that happen, you probably need to be in a lot of places.
You mean values then?
Values, but also your way of being. So that would include a lot of things. That's attitude and mood and self-awareness and what? Your posture. I mean, everything flows out. We are not great hiders sometimes, right? The leaky part. So as these action steps emerge, then you can see, oh, okay. Now, with anything related to vision, there is always going to be some tension. How many of you have ever experienced tension in this pursuit? Yeah. If you're breathing. So the tension is fantastic because to me, it does two things. There's this tension that tempts us to lower our vision just to what we can expect. And I don't know about you, but I've found myself in conversations that say, who do you think you are? Why are you doing this? No one cares. Shut up. Go back. Sit, like, blah, blah, like, just give up. The tension seems like too much of a demand. And that temptation is, well, you know what? Right here is fine. Right here is fine. And I don't really need to just continue on this. I can just, we'll settle. And settling is okay. So that is one tension, the tension to lower the vision. Then there's the other tension. That is the grab you by the throat and pull you out of bed in the morning tension because you're so darn excited about who you are and what you're bringing to the world. And it's that, it's like the already not yet. I mean, I can see it as possible, and I'm still pushing and I'm driving because that's what's in me, and I'm connected to my purpose in such a way that nobody stops me. I'm going, and it's this unlimited source of energy, and that's a different type of tension. How many of you have experienced both types of tension? Yeah, right? This is human nature. And honestly, when I experience this type of tension, instead of beating myself up, what I've learned to do is to say, wow, you really want to quit right now. I bet there's something huge at stake. This is a call to action. You're wanting to quit. You're discounting yourself. You're making up a story about how it doesn't matter and no one cares. That's a call to action. That lets you know there's something huge at stake. So buckle up and move. Like, take a step. Take a step. And people that know me know I talk out loud to myself often. Don't judge. And sometimes I will be in bed in the morning and I will say, get up. You're the person that gets up out of bed and makes this stuff happen. You're that person. You're not the person that's like, please go away. Although I feel like that sometimes. I feel like the please go away person. And it's okay because feelings are just fuel. They're not necessarily really anything else. So when we look at vision, as we're moving through the day, just start to notice and become aware of how can I get a bigger slice of current reality? Because does anyone have the full 360 on current reality? No, at least no one in this room. So we all have different vantage points that we can offer and leverage as a resource, right, to other people. Because blind spots, some of you mentioned that a little bit earlier. Like, I can't see my nose. I've never seen it really except in a mirror, and then it's backwards, so I don't really know what it looks like. And that's the thing with the blind spots. They're not going to just ever go away. It's not a seek and destroy mission. It's exploration. It's an adventure. And so looking and being willing to look is, I hate when that happens, is a discipline. And we're going to engage that discipline, thanks, sweetie, together today. Just awesome. Yeah, the back. What do I want to do next? Okay. What are some of the derailers for you of pursuing vision? When the tension gets high, what happens?